so happy to have on Lajeune Hollis. And full disclosure here, you work in this building at News 8 in sales for 100 years, not really 100.
Something like that.
Exactly.
Feels like that anyway.
So we know you and love you and see you in the hallways. 4 years ago, you got a diagnosis, and that's why you're here to talk about this. You fought and beat and are a survivor of colon cancer. Take me back 4 years ago. What happened?
Basically, I was getting stomach problems. I was having stomach issues, and I've always had a poor stomach, so I didn't really think anything of it. And I decided to get it checked out. I was talking with a coworker about it. She's like, "You really need to get it checked out," because I kept complaining about it.
Did you have a hunch at all that something?
It felt off. I'm pretty good about knowing my body, and it felt a little off, but I never would have thought that. I just thought something's off, something's not normal. And so when she said, "You know what, you should really get this checked out," I figured, let me get it checked out. So I went to a GI doctor that my primary care physician had recommended, and the GI doctor basically misdiagnosed me and said nothing was wrong, you're fine, go home kind of thing. And I didn't feel fine, I felt funny.
So something was tugging at you.
Something was tugging at me, exactly. And I went home and I went to work the next day. I'm talking to my coworker again. I'm like, she basically said nothing was wrong, but I said, but I feel wrong. I felt, actually at that point I was really starting to feel sick. So she said, why don't you try my GI group? So I called them, got an appointment immediately when I explained my symptoms, and they got me in, and I met with the PA, I met with the physician's assistant, and it was just a total different experience. I felt like I was being taken care of. And this woman was incredible, and she went through everything with me and basically spoke with me for about 2 hours and consulted with me and asked me all these questions, and I didn't get that before. I got a rushed sort of
So interview. We're learning a lesson here.
Oh, absolutely.
About physicians and feeling right about where you're being treated.
Yes, that too. So
what happens?
So she said to me, I want you to get a colonoscopy. And I was 49 at the time, so I was headed towards a colonoscopy at any rate. But I thought, I felt kind of funny because I'd heard horror stories about the prep for colonoscopies, and I figured I had to get it anyway. Might as well get it now, and why not start here kind of thing. So I made an appointment for a colonoscopy, and I went for it, and my father drove me, and basically found out at the colonoscopy or after the colonoscopy that I had colon cancer.
Who spoke those words to you, and do you remember when somebody said the word cancer to you?
The GI doctor, after I came out, I think it was like 4 hours under, and I felt like it was only 30 minutes because everything happens so, and you're under and all that. But I woke up, and he called me in his office. He said, get dressed and come on in. And I came in and didn't think anything. I just thought.
So you were fine. You didn't think anything
of it. I just figured, this is what you do. And I came in his office, and he said it to me, and I don't think I heard him. And I was out of it. I was still on the drug.
Sure.
And I was out of it, and I thought, I wonder if I heard what I thought I heard. So I told my father about it in the car, and he kind of looked at me, and he didn't believe it either, and he just kind of looked away, and that was the end of the conversation. So I went home and called Dr. Chan the following morning, and I said, did I hear what I thought I heard? And he said, yes. He said, you have colon cancer. At least we think you do. And he said, we want to make sure it's that, and you should get a CAT scan. So he said, let's make an appointment for one. And sure enough, when I got the CAT scan, I found out I have it. I do have colon cancer. And it still felt unreal. I still felt...
When somebody says the word cancer to you, and it's you, what do? What do you start feeling?
I thought I was going to die immediately. I thought I was going to die. I'd always, you grow up feeling a certain way about cancer, and you think it's a death sentence, and I thought it was a death sentence. I said, this is my time. And then I just immediately changed my mindset because I didn't want to get into that thought pattern.
Who helped you do that?
I did it myself. I did it myself.
How long did it take you to get to these steps of being very afraid, maybe angry, oh no, what's going to happen, to I'm going to fight this?
Maybe not that long. I mean, once I decided that I wasn't gonna be defeated, it was probably a matter of days.
Strength came from what?
Faith. I have strong faith in God, and then just dealing with challenges and taking them on, and I don't know.
So you're diagnosed with colon cancer. This is not an easy cancer to have. What starts to happen to you?
I hadn't treated yet. When I got diagnosed, I was starting to lose weight. That was one of the telltale signs. I was losing weight.
I remember around the building, we saw you so thin.
Yes, I was losing weight. That was the first thing. I was always in pain. I felt I was tired. I had no appetite. My skin was discolored. It didn't look healthy. It was starting to look tired. Didn't feel like myself. I was in pain all the time. In my stomach, I was like bowled over with pain at some point.
Treatment starts, how hard was that?
The treatment, I hadn't started treatment yet because I had to get the surgeries.
Let's go through that.
Okay,
let's go through the surgeries.
So what happened was I met with my doctor. You meet with your surgeon and you have to go through all the pre-surgical things. And he basically said, this is going to be simple. I'm going to take a third of your colon away from you.
Wait a minute. And you're hearing a third of your colon.
He said, so you have a really long colon, so this third isn't going to be, you're going to be okay with 2/3. You're going to be able to do what you need to do.
You're processing this?
I'm processing it because I'm thinking, the way he's describing it, he made it sound so simple. He said, it's going to be a third of your colon taken away. He showed me the diagram, and he said, we're going to do it macroscopically. We're going to use 2 pin points in your stomach, and we're going to take it. We're not even going to. There's not going to be a surgery. It's going to be a macroscopic type of thing, which will make it a lot easier. It'll be simple. You'll go under for 4 hours. You'll come out. You'll have a third less of a colon. But what happened was that morning, my father and my sister brought me to the hospital for the surgery, and we got there really early. And I couldn't eat, couldn't drink coffee, couldn't do anything, couldn't even take my vitamins, and so I was really, really out of it. And I went into surgery that morning, and when I woke up, he basically told me, my surgeon told me what had really happened. And what really happened was that they found out that there was a baseball ball size of cancer that they found on my uterus and in my ovaries, and they had to remove that. And his friend, Dr. Rutherford, who's an OBGYN, happened to be there that day, just happened to be there. This is all God's work. And he basically said to him, I need your help. He said, I opened her up, and there's a baseball ball size of cancer that we did not expect to see, and it's on her uterus, and it's on her ovaries, and I'm not an OBGYN, I need you to do this. And then I'll do my part, which is removing the third of her colon, and of course I'll have to do this surgically instead of macroscopically. So there were 2 surgeries in the 4 hours. So when I woke up, he told me, he just gave you a total hysterectomy, and we took a third of your colon away. So it was kind of I sort of started feeling despair, and then again I had to turn my head around because I thought I'm a glass full type of person, so I thought I can take this one or two ways. I can look at it and say, you know what, this happened, but it would have happened anyway. So if they didn't do what they did, they would have had to do it anyway, and I would have came back and everything would have been doubled. I would have had double the surgery, double the waiting time, double the being out of work time. I was thinking about all these things. And then the other thing he told me was that now we're going to have to go, before I didn't have to have chemo, and then he said now you're going to have chemo, which is another thing that I wasn't looking forward to, and was really happy to find out I didn't need. But once they did this, once they saw that the cancer spread, they can't have it spread anymore, even though they remove it. So they make sure that you do the chemo just to be safe.
How long a span are we talking? Because things are moving really fast.
Things are moving really
diagnosed.
Fast. Yeah, from
Here
May
comes the
until
surgeries.
Well, May was when I was diagnosed. No, June was when I was diagnosed. August was when I had the surgeries, the 2 surgeries in one, and then September I started the chemo, and that was after being home for 5 weeks.
Tell me about the chemo. How did you tolerate that?
Chemo was tough. That was tough because I actually felt like when I started going through chemo, I thought to myself, I thought the hard part had happened. Little did I know the hard part was just beginning, because the surgeries and the recovery and learning how to walk, all those things was nothing compared to the chemo.
Why did you have to learn how to walk again? Because of the surgeries?
After the surgery, I couldn't walk. I was laying in bed and was on morphine. And they said, you have to get up. You're not going to be able to leave the hospital until you walk. And I was like, you're kidding. I had no strength, no anything. I could barely move, let alone walk. And I was like, how am I going to walk? And they said, we're sorry, you have to walk. If you don't walk, you don't leave. So I started thinking about it. And I said, I don't want to be in this hospital any longer than I have to. And they only had me scheduled for 5 days after my surgery. So I literally had to do everything in those 5 days. And I wasn't eating. I was being fed intravenously. And I think I got my first meal the day before my last day in, which was a Tuesday. And they said, you can eat today. And I was all excited, and I ordered the meal, and I couldn't even eat it. Couldn't eat it because everything tasted like medicine. So when I got out of the hospital, I was probably like down another 8 pounds easily.
When you look back, now we're fast forward 4 years. That was 4 years ago this August 2015.
Yes.
Do you spend time looking back and looking at how resilient and your strength? Do you look back and tear up a little bit? Do you look back and go, I beat it, I beat it? What are your thoughts now that you are cancer free?
Honestly, I don't think about it until I go in. Every 6 months I meet with my
This is what I'm gonna
oncologist.
ask you.
That
Every
brings me
6
back.
months.
That brings me back because I walk in there and I feel healthy and I look healthy, and I'm looking around me and I see these people and they're cold and they're huddled over and they have that look in their eyes that I used to have, and they're getting ready to go treat, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing here? I have a strange feeling, and then I remember, and it all comes back, and it's like being reminded of how much life is a gift and all those things. And I know I'm supposed to be reminded of that, so it's good that I go back every 6 months. And then my doctors are so, both of them, my oncologist and my surgeon, they're just so happy with the results. They look at me and they're like, this is, we helped her get here.
We saved her.
We saved her, exactly. And, that makes them look good as well.
How has this changed you, or has it?
It has, because it's made me appreciate life more. And it's made me, and I look at things differently. I don't get, things that used to make me upset may not make me as upset. I don't take, sometimes I find myself, and I'll catch myself, sometimes I'll find myself taking something seriously, and I'm like, why am I taking this seriously? I beat cancer. That was probably the largest thing I'll ever go through in my life. This is nothing in the scheme of things, and I have to do this because a lot of times I meet people and, they're talking about something, and I'm thinking, this is so unimportant. In terms of just how you should view life and how you should live life, and just taking it, and it's a gift, and then giving back. It's so important.
How are you giving back with your story now? Now you're writing a blog, The View from Lajeune.
Yes. My blog, I had to talk about it in my blog because I want, if I can help one person, if I can help one person, that would be so important to me. And then that person can help someone, and then it's paid forward. But basically the blog was something I was told to write. I felt like I was told to write this. That's how I feel about it.
You mean it just came from above that you should write this?
Absolutely.
Because you have a message, you have a story to tell.
I do. It all came to me, and it's not even hard for me to do it. It comes out, and I start refining it, and it's amazing. And I look back and I'm like, well, I just wrote that. And I know it's not for me. I know it's a gift.
Where do you plan to take this blog from here? Do you know? Are you going to be a leader in talking about colon cancer and how you can beat it, and get people around you that are positive and that will support you? Where do you think you're going with this blog? Is it just going to be a blog, or are you going to take this to another level?
I'd like to take it to another level. I really would. I just kind of go with what comes. It's hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to answer it. Absolutely want to do something with it. Something's being told to me, and all I'm doing is I'm following my instructions. I'm doing what I have to do. I can't say where I'm going with it. I just know it's going to do something. It's going to be something. And being on your show and being on using other mediums to promote it is so important to me, because I know that there's a purpose with this blog that's going to come out, and it may have already come out, I don't know, but I know that there's definitely a purpose.
Well, you are a pillar of strength. We see it in our building. I thank you so much for coming on and talking about your story, and I know you just helped some person by coming on.
I hope so. I really do.
Thank you, Lajeune
Thank you for
Hollis.
having me.
You're welcome.
Made a trivial pursuits when one this in. Who's this girl? Spend all night kissing, and the bomb was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked to find myself wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Things keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the last ride. The harder we look, the less we can see. Don't you know that you need me?